In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, humans were the laughingstock of the galaxy. Advanced alien races looked down on Earth's inhabitants, seeing them as nothing more than primitive apes who had barely managed to leave their own planet. The galactic community buzzed with jokes and snide remarks about the silly humans who thought they could play in the big leagues. On the bustling planet of Zord Prime, the central hub for intergalactic affairs, alien diplomats gathered for their annual conference. The grand hall was filled with beings of all shapes and sizes, from the towering cracksters to the tiny floating nebulites. As they mingled, their conversations inevitably turned to the latest human antics. "Did you hear?" A tentacled squidlian chuckled to his reptilian friend. "The humans are boasting about reaching the sixth dimension now." The reptilian's scales shimmered with amusement. "Oh, how quaint. They're like children playing with toy spaceships." Nearby, a group of Andromedans burst into laughter. "Remember when they first showed up at the Galactic Council?" One of them wheezed. "They were so proud of their little lightspeed engines." The jokes continued, each one more biting than the last. None of the aliens noticed the lone human representative standing in the corner, his fists clenched tightly at his sides. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the mood was far from jovial. In a top-secret underground facility, nestled deep within the Rocky Mountains, a team of the planet's brightest scientists worked tirelessly. They had been at it for decades, pouring every ounce of human ingenuity into a single groundbreaking project. Dr. Sarah Chen, the lead scientist, stared at the holographic display before her. Complex equations and diagrams floated in the air, depicting a revolutionary concept that could change everything. "We're close," she murmured, her eyes gleaming with determination. "So close to cracking the seventh dimension." Her colleague, Dr. Alexander Volkov, nodded in agreement. "The aliens think we're stuck in the sixth dimension," he said, a hint of bitterness in his voice. "Little do they know what we're about to achieve." As the scientists worked, political leaders from around the world gathered in a secure video conference. The tension was palpable as they discussed the constant ridicule humanity faced in the galactic community. "We can't keep letting them treat us like this," the president of the African Union growled. "It's time we showed them what humans are truly capable of." The Chinese premier nodded in agreement. "Our scientists are on the verge of a breakthrough. Perhaps it's time we surprised our galactic friends." Back in space, a human cargo ship limped towards Earth, its hull battered and scorched. Captain Maria Rodriguez gritted her teeth as she maneuvered the damaged vessel. Her crew had just barely escaped an encounter with Pyraxian pirates, who had laughed as they attacked the primitive human ship. "Someday," Maria muttered, her eyes fixed on the blue marble of Earth growing larger in her view screen. "Someday, they'll regret underestimating us." As days turned into weeks, the whispers of human advancement began to spread. Most alien races dismissed these rumors as mere fantasy, but a few more perceptive individuals began to worry. What if the humans were actually onto something? On the distant planet of Epsilon Eridanib, an ancient Zygon mystic meditated in his crystal cave. His eyes snapped open, glowing with an otherworldly light. "A shift is coming," he intoned to his acolytes. "The balance of power in the galaxy is about to change." His words were met with skepticism. After all, what could the humans possibly do to upset the established order? Little did they know, deep within that mountain laboratory on Earth, Dr. Chen and her team were putting the finishing touches on their magnum opus, the seventh dimension vessel, a ship that could transcend the very fabric of spacetime, was almost ready. As the first test run approached, a sense of anticipation filled the air. Humanity held its breath, hoping against hope that this time they would prove the galaxy wrong. The laughter of alien races echoed in their ears, fueling their determination. The stage was set. The galaxy continued its mocking, unaware that the punchline of their favorite joke was about to become the architect of their new reality. Humanity was ready to step out of the shadows and into a new era of galactic prominence. The seventh dimension beckoned, and Earth answered the call. Deep within the Rocky Mountain facility, Tension filled the air. Dr. Sarah Chen and her team stood around the gleaming seventh dimension vessel, a sleek machine that looked more like a work of art than a spaceship. Its surface shimmered with an otherworldly glow, hinting at the power contained within. "All systems are go," Dr. Volkov announced, his fingers flying over the control panel. "We're ready for the first test run." Dr. Chen took a deep breath. "This is it, everyone. The moment we've all been waiting for." She turned to face her team, her eyes shining with determination. "No matter what happens today, remember that we've already achieved the impossible. We've created something no one in the galaxy thought possible." As the countdown began, the air seemed to crackle with energy. The vessel hummed to life, its engines emitting a soft, melodic tone that seemed to resonate with the very fabric of reality. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Initiate. With a blinding flash of light, the vessel disappeared. For a moment, stunned silence filled the lab. Then, chaos erupted as scientists rushed to their stations, checking readings and analyzing data. "It worked," Dr. Volkov shouted, his voice filled with disbelief and joy. "The vessel has successfully entered the seventh dimension." Cheers and applause filled the room. Years of hard work, countless sleepless nights, and unwavering determination had finally paid off. Humanity had done it. They had broken through the barrier that had held them back for so long. As news of the breakthrough spread, world leaders gathered once again. This time, their faces were lit with excitement and pride. "We must proceed carefully," the Japanese Prime Minister cautioned. "If we reveal our achievement too soon, it could upset the delicate balance of galactic politics." The Brazilian president nodded in agreement. "But we can't keep it secret forever. We need to plan our reveal for maximum impact." Meanwhile, in the depths of space, the human cargo ship captained by Maria Rodriguez was limping back to Earth. As they approached the solar system, Maria noticed something strange on her sensors. "What in the world?" she muttered, zooming in on the reading. For a split second, she saw a blip unlike anything she'd ever encountered before. It appeared and disappeared so quickly, she almost thought she'd imagined it. Little did Maria know, she had just witnessed the seventh dimension vessel's first test flight in actual space. Back on Earth, Dr. Chen and her team worked tirelessly to refine their creation. Each test brought new discoveries and improvements. The vessel's capabilities expanded beyond their wildest dreams. "We're not just traveling through the seventh dimension," Dr. Chen explained to a group of awestruck government officials. "We're manipulating it. The potential applications are, well, they're limitless." As the weeks passed, rumors began to circulate through the galaxy. At first, they were dismissed as human propaganda. But as more and more alien ships reported strange sightings and unexplainable phenomena, doubt began to creep in. On the planet Zorg Prime, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Representatives from various alien races argued heatedly about the implications of these rumors. "It's impossible," a Crackstore ambassador thundered. "The humans simply don't have the capability to achieve such a feat." A Nebulite representative floated nervously. "But what if they have? We've underestimated them before." As the debate raged on, Earth made its final preparations. The seventh dimension vessel was ready for its grand unveiling. Humanity was about to step onto the galactic stage in a way no one could have predicted. In her quarters on the International Space Station, Maria Rodriguez received a cryptic message. Her eyes widened as she read it, a slow smile spreading across her face. "Well, I'll be damned," she whispered. "Looks like the galaxy is in for one hell of a surprise." As Earth's representatives prepared to depart for the upcoming Galactic Conference, there was a sense of anticipation in the air. For too long, humanity had been the butt of the galaxy's jokes. But now, armed with their revolutionary technology, they were ready to turn the tables. The stage was set. The seventh dimension vessel was primed and ready. And humanity. They were prepared to show the galaxy exactly what they were capable of. The breakthrough had been made. Now, It was time for the unveiling. The grand hall of the Galactic Conference on Zord Prime buzzed with activity. Alien representatives from across the Milky Way gathered, their conversations a cacophony of clicks, whistles, and rumbles. The atmosphere was tense, filled with speculation about the rumors surrounding Earth's latest technological advancement. As the human delegation entered, a hush fell over the crowd. Led by Ambassador Elena Reyes, the team walked with purpose, their heads held high. Gone was the hesitation and meekness of previous years. This time, they moved with confidence, drawing curious and suspicious glances from the alien dignitaries. Ambassador Reyes took her place at the podium, her gaze sweeping across the sea of alien faces. Distinguished representatives of the galaxy, she began, her voice clear and strong. For too long, humanity has been underestimated, mocked, and dismissed. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. A Squidlian diplomat leaned towards his Andromedan colleague, tentacles waving dismissively. "Here we go again," he whispered. Another empty boast from the humans. But Elena continued, undeterred. "Today, we stand before you not as the punchline to your jokes, but as pioneers of a new frontier. Ladies, gentlemen, and beings of all designations, I present to you the seventh dimension vessel." With a dramatic gesture, Elena activated a holographic display. The image of a sleek, otherworldly ship materialized above the podium, rotating slowly for all to see. Its surface shimmered with an impossible light, hinting at the power contained within. For a moment, stunned silence filled the hall. Then, chaos erupted. "Preposterous!" shouted a Crackstra representative, his massive form rising in indignation. "The seventh dimension is purely theoretical. This is clearly some kind of trick." Others joined in, their voices rising in a mixture of disbelief, anger, and fear. But a few remained silent, their eyes fixed on the hologram, minds racing with the implications. Ambassador Reyes raised her hand, calling for silence. "We anticipated your skepticism," she said calmly. "That's why we've prepared a demonstration." Outside the conference hall, in the space above Zord Prime, a shimmer appeared in the empty void. Suddenly, with a flash of light that momentarily outshone the planet's sun, the seventh dimension vessel materialized. Gasps of shock echoed through the hall as the ship's image was broadcast on the large screens. Alien scientists rushed to their instruments, confirming what their eyes could scarcely believe. "Impossible," whispered a nebulite, its gaseous form pulsing with excitement. "They've actually done it." Back on the ship, Captain Maria Rodriguez sat at the helm, a grin spreading across her face. "Showtime," she muttered, activating the vessel's unique capabilities. The ship began to move, but not in any way the watching aliens had ever seen before. It seemed to fold in on itself, disappearing and reappearing at various points around the planet in the blink of an eye. It phased through solid objects, split into multiple copies, and at one point seemed to exist in two places simultaneously. In the conference hall, pandemonium reigned. Some aliens cowered in fear, others argued loudly, and a few sat in stunned silence. The Galactic Council members huddled together, their faces or equivalent features pale with shock. Ambassador Reyes stood calmly amidst the chaos, a small smile playing on her lips. "As you can see," she continued, her voice cutting through the noise, "humanity has not only theorized the seventh dimension, but has found a way to harness its power. We come before you today, not as supplicants, but as equals." Perhaps, she added, a hint of steel entering her voice, "even as leaders in this new frontier." As the implications of her words sank in, a new wave of commotion swept through the hall. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted in an instant. In Earth's secret facility, Dr. Chen and her team watched the proceedings via a secure feed. Tears of joy and pride streamed down many faces. Years of work, of being laughed at and dismissed, had culminated in this moment. "We did it," Dr. Volkov said softly, his voice filled with awe. "We really did it." Dr. Chen nodded, her eyes fixed on the screen showing the alien reactions. "This is just the beginning," she said. "Everything changes from here on out." As the Galactic Conference descended into heated debates and frantic discussions, one thing became clear: the era of laughing at humanity was over. A new age had dawned, and Earth was at its forefront. The seventh dimension vessel hung in space, a testament to human ingenuity and determination. The galaxy would never be the same again. The days following the unveiling of the seventh dimension vessel were a whirlwind of activity across the galaxy. On Earth, celebrations erupted in every city, with humans reveling in their newfound status as a major galactic power. But in the halls of power, both on Earth and throughout the cosmos, tensions ran high. The Galactic Council, still reeling from the shock of the human breakthrough, called for an emergency demonstration of the vessel's capabilities. They needed to understand the full extent of this new technology that threatened to upend the established order. On the chosen day, representatives from every major alien race gathered on a remote, uninhabited planet. The barren world, with its purple sky and twin moons, served as the perfect backdrop for the unprecedented event. Captain Maria Rodriguez stood at the helm of the seventh dimension vessel, her crew a mix of excitement and nervousness. "All right, people," she said, her voice steady. "Let's show them what we can do." As the alien diplomats watched from a safe distance, the vessel rose gracefully into the air. For a moment, it hovered, its surface shimmering with otherworldly energy. Then, with a flash of light, it vanished. Gasps echoed through the watching crowd. A Zygon elder turned to his reptilian counterpart, his eyes wide. Where did they go? The answer came seconds later as the ship reappeared on the far side of the planet, having circled the entire world in the blink of an eye. But this was just the beginning. Over the next hour, Captain Rodriguez and her crew put the vessel through its paces, demonstrating capabilities that seemed to defy the very laws of physics. They phased through solid matter, split the ship into multiple copies that acted independently, and even reversed the local flow of time in a small area. Dr. Chen's voice crackled over the communication system, explaining each feat to the stunned audience. "What you're seeing is not just faster than light travel," she said. "It's the manipulation of space-time itself on a fundamental level." As the demonstration continued, the reactions among the alien races varied wildly. Some watched in awe, their scientific curiosity overriding any fear. Others huddled together, whispering frantically about the military implications of such technology. A particularly bold crackster stepped forward, his massive form dwarfing the human representatives. "This is all very impressive," he rumbled, "but how do we know it's not just an elaborate illusion?" Ambassador Reyes smiled. "We anticipated such questions," she replied. "That's why we're prepared to offer supervised tours of the vessel to scientific delegations from each of your worlds." This announcement sent a new wave of excitement through the crowd. The opportunity to study such advanced technology was too tempting to resist, even for those who viewed humanity with suspicion. As the demonstration neared its end, Captain Rodriguez decided to end with a flourish. The seventh dimension vessel rose high into the atmosphere, then seemed to fold in on itself, creating a spectacle of light and energy that lit up the alien world's sky like a new sun. When the light faded, the ship was gone. Moments later, it reappeared right where it had started, settling gently on the ground. The silence that followed was deafening. Then, slowly, applause began to spread through the crowd. Even those who feared the implications of this new technology couldn't help but be impressed by its capabilities. As the human crew disembarked, they were swarmed by alien scientists, diplomats, and journalists, all clamoring for more information. Captain Rodriguez found herself shaking hands, and other appendages, with beings she had once only dreamed of meeting as equals. Meanwhile, in a quiet corner, a group of Galactic Council members huddled in intense discussion. The eldest among them, a nebulite who had seen millennia of galactic politics, spoke softly. "Everything has changed," he said, his gaseous form pulsing with emotion. "The humans are no longer the newcomers to be humored or dismissed. They have become a force that could reshape the very fabric of our society. The others nodded gravely. The balance of power had shifted, and the galaxy would never be the same. As the sun set on the alien world, casting long shadows across the gathered beings, one thing was clear: the era of human subservience in galactic affairs was over. A new chapter in cosmic history had begun, with humanity holding the pen. The seventh dimension vessel stood silently, a testament to human ingenuity and a harbinger of changes yet to come. The galaxy held its breath, wondering what this new era would bring. In the weeks following the demonstration of the seventh dimension vessel, chaos erupted across the galaxy. The once stable power structures began to crumble as every alien race scrambled to adjust to the new reality of human technological supremacy. On the bustling trade world of Nexus Prime, alien merchants argued loudly in the sprawling marketplaces. Human goods are worthless now. A Squidlian trader shouted, waving his tentacles angrily. Who wants to buy their outdated tech when they're hiding the real treasures? Nearby, a group of Andromedan tourists canceled their trip to Earth. It's too dangerous, one of them chittered nervously. What if they use that seventh dimension thing on us? Fear and uncertainty spread like wildfire. Some worlds began to fortify their defenses, while others sent desperate messages to Earth, seeking alliances or trade deals. The Galactic Stock Exchange plummeted as investors panicked, unsure of what the future held. In the halls of the Galactic Council, heated debates raged day and night. The Crackster delegation pounded their fists on the table, demanding immediate action. We must unite against this human threat. Their leader roared. Who knows what they plan to do with this power? The Zygon representatives, usually calm and diplomatic, found themselves caught in the middle. We must approach this rationally, their elder pleaded. The humans have not shown any aggressive intent. Perhaps we can learn from them. Meanwhile, on Earth, the mood was a mix of elation and caution. World leaders gathered in an emergency summit to discuss their next steps. The room was tense, filled with both excitement and apprehension. We have the upper hand now, the Russian president said, his eyes gleaming. We should use this opportunity to demand reparations for years of alien mockery and exclusion. The Canadian Prime Minister shook her head. No, we must be better than that. This is our chance to prove we're worthy of our new status. We should extend an olive branch, offer to share our knowledge. As the debate continued, Dr. Chen and her team worked tirelessly to unlock more secrets of the seventh dimension. In their mountain laboratory, they made breakthrough after breakthrough, each one expanding the potential applications of their revolutionary technology. We're not just changing space travel, Dr. Chen explained to a group of wide-eyed officials. We're on the verge of solving global warming, ending food scarcity, even curing diseases we thought incurable. The seventh dimension is the key to it all. But not everyone on Earth celebrated. Protests erupted in major cities, with some fearing alien retaliation and others worried about the ethical implications of such powerful technology. Signs reading "Don't play God with dimensions" and "Alien rights are sentient rights" filled the streets. In space, the situation grew even more tense. A Pyrexian warship, the same species that had once attacked Captain Rodriguez's cargo vessel, now found itself face-to-face with a human patrol ship equipped with seventh dimension technology. The Pyrexian captain, once bold and arrogant, now sweated nervously as he opened a communication channel. We mean no harm," he stammered, all bravado gone. "Please, we're just passing through." Captain Rodriguez, commanding the patrol ship, allowed herself a small smile. "You're welcome to pass," she said calmly. "But remember, the days of preying on human vessels are over. Spread the word." As the Pyrexian ship scurried away, Rodriguez couldn't help but feel a mix of pride and concern. The power they now wielded was immense, and with it came great responsibility. Back on Zorg Prime, the Galactic Council finally reached a decision. They would send a high-level delegation to Earth, led by representatives from the 5 most powerful alien races. Their mission: to negotiate with the humans and find a way to integrate this new power into the galactic community without causing further chaos. As the delegation prepared to depart, the eldest council member, the ancient Nebulite, gathered them for a final word. "Remember," he said, his voice filled with the wisdom of eons, "we stand at a crossroads of history. The choices we make now will echo through the cosmos for generations to come. We must choose wisely." The delegation nodded solemnly. As their ship set course for Earth, the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. The humans had changed everything with their seventh dimension vessel. Now the question on everyone's mind was, what would they do next? As the alien delegation's ship entered Earth's solar system, the planet buzzed with anticipation. News channels broadcasted non-stop coverage, and people around the world gathered in front of screens, eager to witness this historic moment. The sleek diplomatic vessel, representing the 5 most powerful alien races, descended through Earth's atmosphere, landing gracefully in a specially prepared area outside the United Nations headquarters in New York. As the ship's doors opened, humans held their breath. The alien delegates emerged, a diverse group that showcased the variety of life in the galaxy. The towering Crackstor ambassador ducked to exit the ship, followed by the floating Nebulite elder. The Zygon representative slithered out, while the Andromedan and Squidlian diplomats brought up the rear. A human-welcoming party, led by the UN Secretary-General and flanked by world leaders, stepped forward to greet them. For the first time in history, humans were meeting aliens as equals, or perhaps even as superiors. Inside the UN building, negotiations began. The Grand Assembly Hall, once filled with only human representatives, now hosted beings from across the stars. The atmosphere was tense but filled with possibility. Ambassador Elena Reyes took the podium, her voice steady as she addressed the gathered delegates. "We stand at a turning point in galactic history," she began. "Humanity has unlocked the secrets of the 7th dimension, but we do not wish to hoard this knowledge. We propose a new era of cooperation and shared progress." The alien representatives listened intently, their reactions a mix of skepticism and hope. The Crackstor ambassador, his massive form dwarfing the human speakers, leaned forward. "Pretty words," he rumbled, "but how can we trust that you won't use this power against us, as we once did against you?" A murmur ran through the crowd. It was a fair question, given humanity's history of conflict. But Ambassador Rice was prepared. "Actions speak louder than words," she replied, "which is why we've already begun using our 7th dimension technology to address galactic-scale problems." With a gesture, she activated a holographic display. It showed the 7th dimension vessel approaching a dying star system. As the assembled delegates watched in awe, the ship seemed to fold space itself, stabilizing the star and saving billions of lives on the surrounding planets. "This is just the beginning," Rice continued. "We have the power to reshape worlds, to end scarcity, to explore the furthest reaches of the universe. But we choose to do this not alone, but hand in hand with our galactic neighbors." The Nebulite elder pulsed with excitement. "Remarkable," he exclaimed. "You've advanced so far so quickly. We were fools to ever underestimate you." As the negotiations continued, humans around the world watched and waited. In labs and universities, scientists eagerly anticipated the chance to work alongside alien researchers. In hospitals, doctors dreamed of cures the 7th dimension technology might bring. And in homes everywhere, people dared to hope for a brighter future. On the International Space Station, now dwarfed by the amazing capabilities of the 7th dimension vessel, Captain Maria Rodriguez gazed down at the Earth. "Look at us now," she murmured, remembering the days when humans were mocked and belittled in space. "We did it. We really did it." Back in the UN, the negotiations reached a critical point. The Andromedan representative, her crystalline form shimmering, spoke up. "We propose a galactic council of equals," she said, with humanity taking a leading role. "Your wisdom in handling this power has shown you're ready for such responsibility." A hush fell over the assembly. This was more than they had ever dreamed of, not just acceptance, but a leadership position in galactic affairs. Ambassador Reyes took a deep breath before responding. "We accept this honor, and the great responsibility that comes with it. Let this mark the beginning of a new age of cooperation and advancement for all sentient beings." As the assembly erupted in applause, humans and aliens alike felt the weight of the moment. The galaxy was entering a new era, with humanity at the forefront. Outside, crowds cheered as news of the agreement spread. Fireworks lit up the sky, their colors pale in comparison to the shimmering form of the seventh dimension vessel hovering above. Humanity had ascended. Once the laughingstock of the galaxy, they were now its hope for a brighter future. The journey ahead would be challenging, but for the first time, the stars themselves seemed within reach. 5 years had passed since humanity's ascension to galactic leadership, and the universe was a very different place. The Milky Way hummed with activity as beings from all corners of the galaxy worked together in ways once thought impossible. On the newly established Galactic Hub, a massive space station orbiting a neutral star system, representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered for the annual Cosmic Cooperation Summit. The station's design was a marvel of seventh-dimension engineering, with sections that existed in multiple planes of reality simultaneously. Ambassador Elena Reyes, now serving as the first human galactic chancellor, stood at the podium. Her hair had a few more streaks of gray, but her eyes still shone with the same determination that had guided humanity to its current position. "Fellow sentients," she began, her voice carried across the stars by seventh-dimension communications technology, "we gather today to celebrate 5 years of unprecedented peace and progress." The audience, a colorful mix of various alien species and humans, listened attentively. Among them sat Dr. Sarah Chen and Captain Maria Rodriguez, both now legendary figures across the galaxy. Chancellor Reyes continued, "Thanks to the seventh dimension vessel and the cooperation of all our worlds, we've achieved what was once thought impossible. We've terraformed barren planets, bringing life to dead worlds. We've cured diseases that plagued our species for millennia. We've even begun to explore galaxies beyond our own." A holographic display activated, showing the incredible achievements. Lush forests growing on once desolate planets, hospitals where humans and aliens worked side by side, using seventh-dimension technology to heal the sick. And most impressively, an image of a seventh-dimension vessel emerging from a swirling interdimensional portal, returning from its maiden voyage to the Andromeda Galaxy. In the audience, a young crackster leaned towards his Zygon friend. "Can you believe it?" he whispered excitedly. "My grandfather used to tell me stories about how they once laughed at humans. Now we're all studying Earth history in school." The Zygon nodded, its eyes fixed on the human chancellor. "Times have certainly changed," it hissed softly. "For the better, I'd say." As the summit continued, working groups formed to discuss the next big challenges. A team of nebulite and human scientists presented plans for stabilizing a cluster of dying stars. Andromedan and Earth diplomats outlined a strategy for peaceful contact with a newly discovered sentient species in a nearby galaxy. In a quiet corner, Dr. Chen sat with a group of alien researchers, excitedly discussing the latest breakthroughs in seventh dimension theory. "We're on the verge of understanding the eighth dimension," she explained, her eyes gleaming with the thrill of discovery. "Imagine the possibilities." Meanwhile, Captain Rodriguez led a mixed crew of humans and aliens on a mission to test the latest version of the seventh dimension vessel. As they prepared to depart, she couldn't help but smile at how far they'd come. Once mocked and belittled, humans now worked seamlessly alongside the very beings who had once looked down on them. Back at the main assembly, Chancellor Reyes wrapped up her speech. "But let us not forget," she said, her tone becoming serious, "that with great power comes great responsibility. We must use our knowledge of the seventh dimension wisely, always striving to benefit all sentient life, not just our own species or allies." Her words resonated with the audience. The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson from humanity's rise. Underestimating others and clinging to prejudices could cause one to miss out on incredible potential. As the summit came to a close, beings from across the galaxy mingled freely, sharing ideas and forming new friendships. The air buzzed with excitement about the future and gratitude for how far they'd come. In Earth's orbit, a school group of mixed species toured the first seventh dimension vessel, now preserved as a museum. The guide, a young human woman, smiled as she led them through the ship. "And here," she said, stopping at the bridge, "is where it all began, where humanity took its first step into a larger universe, and in doing so, brought the entire galaxy together." As the children gazed in awe at the ship's controls, the guide's words hung in the air. The seventh dimension vessel had done more than revolutionize space travel. It had revolutionized the very fabric of galactic society, turning former enemies into allies and opening up a future brighter than anyone had dared to imagine. The laughter had stopped, replaced by mutual respect and shared wonder at the mysteries of the universe still waiting to be explored. And humanity, once the punchline, now stood proudly at the forefront of this grand cosmic adventure.